Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. This is your first time on the channel? Welcome. How you doing? On this channel, I do truck news and reviews, and I do truck stories and SUV reviews, and I do some behind-the-scenes stuff. Pull back the mask and the curtain and show you what it's like to be an auto journalist. And in this behind-the-scenes video, I'm going to talk to you about press loans. Yes, those vehicles that you see that pop up on YouTube or Car and Driver or Motor Trend. How do we get those? Do we go to dealerships, or do we just get them out of thin air? How does it all work? I'm going to tell you about all of that coming up right now. Okay, this is my press loan for the week. And remember, if you like this content, subscribe, click the bell, and smash the like button, and put your comments below. This is a 2020 Toyota 4Runner. It's an army green color. But beyond the vehicle itself is the real question in this video I'm going to answer: how did I get that? And to do that, let's go inside of my office. Okay, here in my office, let's discuss what these press loans are. So I should start with a definition of a press loan. A press loan is a vehicle I get from a manufacturer for 7 days. Now, I live in western Nebraska, so I pull from the Denver fleet. So they drive up from Denver, they drop it at my house, I get it for 7 days, they bring it, it's clean, it's got a full tank of gas, and during those 7 days, my requirement is I have to use it or drive it or do whatever, but really my requirement is that they have a link. So what's a link? A link is like what you'd see on the screen. It's a video in my case. Some outlets have stories, some do whatever with them, but I need to have something I send back to the manufacturer that says, yes, I drove it, and yes, I reviewed it, and here's the byproduct of that loan. So that's what a press loan is. Now, there's a bigger question here as far as how do you get these press loans? Well, it also happens to be on the screen. So they don't just give press loans out to anybody. So if you just start a blog, you start a podcast, you start whatever, you don't immediately qualify for press loans. And even in my case, I don't qualify for all the manufacturer press loans. Each manufacturer has different requirements in the number of followers you have, number of subscribers you have, number of website visits, all that stuff gets added together, and then you come on a chart whether you qualify. And then based on your region, like in my case, Denver, the person who gets the first vehicles is typically based on who's the big dog, who's got the most subscribers. So in my case, I have TFL Truck and Boulder, and we pull from the same press fleet. And so quite often I always get vehicles after they've had it. It's not a bad thing, it's just a pecking order, like any sort of business. And so my goal is to develop content for you guys that's more different, more interesting, and come up with ideas to do stories and that stuff that gets your attention, even though I'm not the first guy to have the vehicle. So there's other ways we get vehicles too. I have a relationship with a Ford dealer in town, and sometimes I go get a truck from him. Now, he's a little bit different than I get the press loan. So a press loan, I have 7 days. I can go to the farm, go off-roading with it, I can get mudding with it, I can go towing with it, all sorts of stuff. When you get a dealer loan, it's a little bit different. I mean, you're basically test driving it. He quarter tank gas, you do your license thing, insurance kind of thing, and then you get to drive a little bit. But I'm always more careful with those vehicles because, well, he's trying to sell them. In the case of a press loan, it's just going to go through the press fleet throughout the area, go to journalists that qualify for it, and that vehicle is going to be sent probably around the country. And when they're done with that vehicle, they just auction it off. So once it hits 10,000, 15,000 miles, it's getting auctioned off. And the automaker wants me to use it. So they want me to tow with it. They want me to haul with it. They want me to put it into use like a lifestyle. So that way, you as a viewer or a reader, whoever you happen to be, can really see how that truck's used in a lifestyle and see, well, what I like and don't like about it. And with a dealership, it's a little bit different. So there you'll see different channels on YouTube. You'll see guys with dealership loans, and they're very easy to spot. They're usually parked in front of a dealership, A, and B, they have a window sticker on the side. Now, I also get the same window sticker. Let me grab it. I have a stack of them. And there's some legal agreements I have to sign as well. So, like, this is a loan agreement. And a lot of times these loan agreements are pretty simple. I mean, they basically state, I will not operate it when I'm drunk. I won't smoke in the vehicle. I won't have pets in the vehicle. I can't use it outside the United States. You know, there's certain requirements I have to follow. I have to make sure that this one, in this case, I cannot be Park Street in the borough of Manhattan at any time, just because they've had some past issues with that. So, you know, I don't really fall into that realm in Nebraska here. And all that stuff happens to the vehicle, but I have the same sticker. So this happens to be the 2020 BMW X7 M50i I had a few weeks ago. And you can see the same sticker you get in the dealership and the same sticker on the side of the dealership models, the same one I get. So we get the same information. So That's basically what a press fleet is, press loan is. Now, how do I plan them out? Now, so Denver's got 3 different press loan companies. These companies manage the fleets, and they get vehicles out to journalists as part of their fleet services. A lot of times they have different businesses too, like they may do event services, they may do big event things, as well as the media loans to us. And so what I have to do is not only do I need to make sure I'm talking to the press loan agencies and businesses to let them know what I'm looking for, but also to see what's coming down in their inventory that I can choose from. And I also need to spend time talking with the manufacturer PR reps to make sure they know me, know what I do, they respect what I do, and to see if I qualify for the loans. So at the end of the day, this car business is really a people business. And if you don't spend a lot of time on email and conversations on the phone and conversations at auto shows and get to know people and go to press loan association, or go to press association, which is meetings that we have with a bunch of journalists get together. If you're not here's the deal. If you're not networking, you're very likely not to get the loans. Now, in my case, I'm pretty simple. I want truck and SUVs, and I want them for the channel. I used to do a lot of freelance work, so I have been out there in the business for a while. I've been doing this 8-9 years at the time of this filming. And so people know me. I've spent a lot of time networking. I spent a lot of time going to auto shows. And I'll do another video on how I became a journalist, and eventually I'll link that above. So that's how the press loan works. So if you are in an area, or you're a budding journalist, or you're just curious what's happening, that's how the vehicles that come to me, and that's how I get them. Now, let's talk about what kind of vehicles come. So a lot of times we get a lot of criticism on this channel and other channels about we only review the top line trucks. We only review the top line SUVs. Well, there's a reason for that. So automakers, they use their PR teams and marketing teams basically to get the vehicles out to journalists, out to the public, and drive events, things like that. And what they do is they order the vehicles. So like, for example, let me pick Ford. They're the biggest truck manufacturer in the country. So Ford's PR team's going to sit down and say, okay, I have a budget of X number of dollars, and I want to make sure I get 6 to 8 vehicles in the press fleets across the country to get reviews. And I'm going to do these reviews, these vehicles, and get all this media built up about this truck. And that way, when the marketing comes out with the advertisements and commercials, I have these real world reviews going up live too. So I have all this marketing energy to support this new product. And so in Ford's case, they're going to look at what they have in the fleets. They're going to look at what they want to put out there. And they're going to sit back and say, okay, what's new? Well, what's new at this filming is Ford Super Duties. Tremor, like the Tremor, for example, the new Super Duties overall have been refreshed. But the Tremor is really what they're pushing. So what Ford's going to do is they're going to sit down and say, okay, well, we need to get a bunch of Tremors out to journalists so they can drive them, they can experience them, and we can get all this energy built up on this Tremor. It's their new off-road package. And so they'll order the Tremor package. They'll order them all throughout the Super Duties. They'll order a bunch of Tremors. And then they'll say, okay, what's new this year for Super Duty? We have the backup assist. Okay, every truck we're buying has backup assist. Okay, do we have a new color? Well, like, for example, that Toyota 4Runner. Army Green's a new color this year. That means every Toyota 4Runner, Sequoia, Tundra, Tacoma I get this year will have Army Green. So really it comes down to what they're pushing. Do they want to send me a base level XLT F-150? Not really, because they know that if they send me the top line model, I can still talk about an XLT in my video. I can still break it down. I can still say, hey, I can compare them. I've done it in prior videos. They'd much rather send me something fully loaded because it's easier to ignore an option and not talk about it than it is to not talk about an option that's not there. So they give me all the options and I can pick and choose what I want to talk about as long as that vehicle gets a link and I'm talked about. So that's why I'm saying in a lot of cases we get these trucks that are always fully loaded, these high price points, everything. And it's really just a byproduct of what PR is trying to push, what marketing is trying to push, what the company's trying to push, as far as new features, as far as a new color, as far as new trim. And so that's why I've developed a relationship with a dealer here in town so I can get some base level trucks as well. And that's why I do the best I can at drive events and things to find base level trucks to review to put on this channel. So that way I have it balanced out. That way I have a full channel that has rounded out with different trucks and SUVs on it of different trim levels and different things. And whenever I can, I try to talk about lower trim levels. But again, it's not like I'm ordering them. And there's also a thing where I get comments saying, hey, I want a 2020 Ford F-150 XL with the 302A package on it. Well, it may not be in the fleet. So these fleets, I think I should explain this. These fleets are thinking about like these fleets of hundreds and 200s of vehicles. No, I think the Denver press fleet, all three fleets combined, probably has 150 cars all combined. And out of those, I probably qualify for half. And out of those, I probably already reviewed several of them. So I get, a vehicle a week basically, and often I get two. And so I'm at 70 to 100 cars a year that I have in my driveway. And so I've already done all those vehicles. So there's a lot of times that I have done I've done those vehicles, I've run out of a fleet. Throughout the year, I'll go a month or two without any press vehicles because I've run out the fleet. I've run out all the options. And they don't keep massive fleets. And not every manufacturer even has a fleet. I won't see a Porsche here. They won't bring me a Porsche. Mercedes-Benz, I think I've driven a van once because they're just not a big market for them. That's the thing, too, to understand is you'll see different fleets and different views from like LA, New York, Detroit, and Denver. And a lot of people look at this, and I don't agree with it, but they look at it by the volume of that marketplace. So Denver is like the 5th largest automotive market in the country. And so we don't get as much attention if, say, I lived in LA. I'd get a lot more vehicles in LA. If I lived in Texas, I'd get a lot more trucks in my driveway. I lived in Texas because they look at those marketplaces and where they can ship the trucks to. So the PR team is very adamant about sending vehicles where they think the biggest market is. They're trying to get attention in that marketplace, trying to get riders in the marketplace, and they're also looking at who's in the marketplace too. I mean, it kind of factors in. But there's a lot of times like I'll get that Toyota 4Runner, and that'll be it. The Toyota 4Runner will go through the Denver fleet. It gets on a ship, or not a ship. It gets shipped on a truck to Oregon, and it goes through that fleet, and it gets shipped on a truck to Kansas City or Texas and goes through that fleet. And so it's just the vehicles cycle around, they hit 12,000 miles, they go to auction, and they order another one. And that's typically what happens. So these same vehicles you see over and over again throughout the year if you're savvy about this and really paying attention. And it's just because that's the way the fleets work and that's how the business works. So there you go. So there, hopefully, is the behind the scenes. Oh, let me show you what's coming up. As always, is a question. And I'll put this on the screen. You can see it's an email from Drive Shop, which happens to be one of the press loan agencies in town. And you can see the next 4. I told him trucks and SUVs, and he knows that. We've worked with them for years. So he just went ahead and scheduled me in for them. Okay. I know that's what I want to cover on the channel. I know you'll be interested in that because that's why you subscribe to the channel, hopefully. And so I'm just going to keep reviewing them on my schedule. And so, yeah, like I said, I give them 7 days. Sometimes I wash them, sometimes I don't. I put my kids in them. I go off-roading with them. I use the gas best I can. I drive them best I can. But there's a lot of times I can't drive a vehicle all day. I got to get some work done too. So there you go. There's the behind the scenes. Hope that was helpful. Again, comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are and any other questions you have. Any other behind the scenes you want to see. I know I want to do one on how I became a journalist and any other questions you have. I'll put a link in the end screen here and throughout the video on one I did on what a press trip is. Kind of give that information as well. And, that's basically all it is to it. So, hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you find us on pickuptrucktalk.com. Those 3 words work again on Pickup Truck Talk. You can type it in Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Trust me, we're there. I've done it. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you down the road.